I think we have a nice, small, very interested crew today for today's topic. If I have not met you before and you have not joined us before, I'm Christy Belt Grossman. I'm the owner and founder of Ops Boss Coaching. And Coffee with Christy and Crew is something that we established actually a couple years ago now. We have a great group of coaches, and our coaches love masterminding and solving all the problems. And we're like, let's just mastermind and solve all the problems together. So we kind of invite you in. This is not a class. It's nothing formal. It's just to join the conversation with us. So recently, I was speaking with Jeremy I don't even know how you pronounce your last name, Jeremy. Herrman?
Yeah, Herrman,
Okay.
correct.
There we go. We'll just call him Jeremy. Jeremy and I were looking at ClarityNOW, and I was so impressed with that because we have people that bring products to us all the time, and you need to look at this and you need to look at that. And it's the time of year for business planning as well. So I invited Jeremy to come on, and I wanted him to give you guys a sneak peek of what ClarityNOW actually does. And also just some tips. He had a lot of good business advice around business planning. So Jeremy, welcome to Coffee with Christy and Crew. I'm going to give people our upcoming calendar, and then I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and we'll dive into the topic. So Brooke is going to drop some links in the chat. In case you're interested for Ops Boss Leader Retreat, this is our once a year for operations leaders only annual premiere event, which is coming up in a couple of weeks in the DC area. We have our final 10 Secrets of a Mega EA class, which is for agents and any admin, October 25 and 26 virtually. And our final Rock Referrals Like a Boss class coming back. Everybody loved that last time with Jerica Contos. So we'll put the links in the chat. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about maximizing profits with precision tracking. So Jeremy, welcome and tell us who you are.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Jeremy Herrman. I am I've been in real estate since I was 18. I actually got my license before I finished high school. And I am 36 now, so 18 years in the industry. I've been an agent, been a coach, ran a team. My wife has a team, and I'm also the founder, co-founder, and CEO of ClarityNOW. And kind of what makes us different, the fact that I am from real estate. So I'm actually a real estate agent that kind of randomly found his way into building tech, as opposed to tech companies who build stuff for realtors without really knowing the industry. And I think that's kind of what a lot of separate us from other companies. So it's a pleasure to be here. And Christy, thank you for the opportunity.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. So when we got on a call, it was a couple of months ago at this point, we were talking about business planning is coming up. Yep. One of the things you said to me was a lot of teams are starting doing their business planning and they're starting to plan their goals based on units and volume. And you were like, let's do it based on profit. Talk to me about that.
It's a pet peeve of mine. And frankly, I don't blame the agents, because most people, when we say, what's your goal? We say it's to do 100 units or 30 million, or that's how we speak. That's the language of how we all kind of grew up in this industry. The challenge with that, and why I love the Ops Boss community, is to be an Ops Boss, a P&L is really important, right? Like actually managing expenses and profitability of a business is really important. So I always push back when people say their goals to do X amount of units. If I say, Christy, what's your goal? And you say, I want to do 100 units. And I say, great. So if you did 100 units this year, did you win? And you'll say, hell yeah, that was awesome. I'll say, okay, great. You did 100 units this year and your business netted $75,000. Did you win? And they go, well, hold on a second. No. Okay, so it's not actually about the units. It's really about the net. And I think one thing that's important to note is that a business has to make money, and a business should make money because it provides opportunity for others and it provides growth for others. So we have the only economic model in the industry that's actually in software, where I'll show it to you guys in a moment, where you actually can type in how much do you want to net and go through the rest of the algorithm, and it will tell you what your specific production needs to be to hit the net profit that the business desires. So it's a major pet peeve. And again, I don't blame the agents. It's just what we're used to.
Well, and I'll tell you, we haven't broadcast recently, but Lindsay Soprani and I have a podcast, The Leader Equation, and we've had several teams on there that have seen on stage that have lost money. right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not looking at their profits, and they're running huge businesses with big volumes and big units, but they're not paying attention. And as I always tell people, like, that's the object of the game, is to make money, right? We're not
It's not
winning
a
the
in fact,
game.
I wish that people had to provide P&Ls to be on stage.
Agree. Agree. So, okay, I'm going to ask you guys before we continue to jump in the chat. Tell us, why did you come on the call today? Were you just curious about the topic, or is there something that's weighing on your mind, or something that piqued your interest that you're looking to learn today? And go ahead and drop that in the chat. Okay, so Jeremy, I think we were going to talk about kind of going from reactive to proactive, or do we want to go into the business plan first? Do you want to
I
share
think it would
some
actually probably make
about
sense if you're okay with it. If I can share my screen and show kind of what that actually looks like. Are you okay if I dive into that for a moment?
Let's do that for
Okay.
sure.
All right, let me share my screen here.
Love it. Sarah, we're glad you're here. I like that
Thank you,
you
Sarah.
make your coffee breaks learning. That's bossy.
So here's Clarity Now and the economic models that we're talking about here. And what's really, really neat about this economic model is it works for every agent in the industry. So I own a team and I have additional salespeople. I'm on a team, which frankly, I love that status because I think a lot of agents on teams kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to tech. The rainmaker may have it, but the agents on the team are left to their own devices. Or I'm an individual agent, which we're specified here. That means I don't have any additional salespeople. So you may have a support staff, but no other major cost of sales. I'll run it through as I own a team, as that's probably the audience that we have here today. First question, what do you want to net? And I'm just going to fly through this for sake of example. I want to net $500,000, my average sales price, my average commission percentage, my listing conversion metric, what percentage of listings I take actually close, the percentage of my business from listings, same questions on the buy side. On average, how much do you spend per month on a business? Maybe I spend, let's call it $45,000 a month for this kind of business, approximately $540 a year, which there's a budget model too that helps you break down, what that budget actually contains. This question is really important. This is what makes us exclusive to all, or not exclusive to any one brokerage, broker agnostic. Is there a maximum amount that you pay your broker per year? So do you have a cap? If I say no, then what percentage goes to your broker? So we work for all different kind of brokerages. Does your company also have a franchise fee? Some do, some don't. This math right here, guys, is what actually made it difficult. This question is saying, as the rainmaker, is the status I selected, how many listings is there no cost of sale paid on? And how many buyers is there no cost of sale paid on? If the rainmaker's out of production versus doing 100 units and no cost of sales taken out of that, that completely changes the unit economics, right? So let's say I'll do 30 listings and I'll do 10 buyers to my friends, but as a rainmaker, I'm down to sell 40 homes. The rest has to come from the team. Average split on listings, average split on buyers. I have an ISA department. How many referral fees will you pay out? Do you pay your admin on each closed listing? Maybe I pay $150 on each closed listing, and maybe I pay $100 on each closed buyer as a cost of sale. And the last one is basically negotiating inspection repairs, right? So for the entire year, how much do you want to put in the bucket for, guys, I'll fix the washer and dryer, just close? Those kinds of conversations. Seasonality.
Guys, Jeremy, you're going really fast because we have a lot to cover here. What I love about and I know we didn't get there yet, and you have a lot more to say. I love, how many of you guys are detail oriented? Type me in the chat. Yeah, I know we have a lot of high C's here, and I'm like, this model has so many more variables in it that you can play with to get your numbers versus some of the business planning models that are just put in your conversion ratios and whatever, how much listings and how much buyers. This is way better. Okay, keep going.
It's honestly, I don't know if it's embarrassing or prideful. It's one of the two, that it took us about a year to actually make this work because there's so much going on for it to spit out the accurate number and test it. And it took a long time. So what we just did is, if I want to net $500,000, I got to do 58.1 million. It's 1.651 in GCI. 166 units. And to me, this is one of the most important parts of this economic model. I said that as the rainmaker, I would do 30 listings and 10 buyers. Therefore, I need 45 listings and 81 buyers coming from my team members. So now I know as a rainmaker, I need 126 transactions coming from my team. Do I have the people that can do that? Now I have a recruiting model to it, right? I have my cost of sale broken down by agent comp, admin, referral fees, admin bonuses. I'll be 37% cost of sale, $1 million in gross profit, take out my expenses, gets me back to my net, 30% profitable. And here's the activities that I got to do. So now
you guys have the recruiting model, the recruiting numbers integrated in there is that a future coming?
We don't. I do want to build that because I have another, we don't have time for it today, but a philosophy that I have on recruiting with making sure you hit your unit number, which we can talk about now or later, probably later.
We can go later. Yep, that's just where my brain went. Okay.
Yeah. But the cool thing is now every single agent in the country can create a business plan based on net in software in like 5 minutes. And then you could tweak it. If you get the final number and you think that's too high or too low, well, play around with it.
So how are you advising teams? Elizabeth had a comment in the chat about, let me scroll back up to it. I don't see it now. Here we go. Agents don't usually like tracking and fight admin who try to get numbers. So I'm looking to see if you have something agents love and will willingly use consistently. A lot of those numbers that you're using to do your business plan came from the fact that you have numbers from agents. But there weren't a lot of numbers in there. It was really more production and conversion numbers. It wasn't a lot of how many contacts and all that other stuff that they hate reporting.
Yeah, more conversion numbers. I think the other thing too, why agents sometimes hate it, is because they don't have a relationship with it. They don't see the value in it, and it's because, if I can make maybe a strong statement, I think that most people's spreadsheets and most rainmaker systems for numbers tracking don't actually add any value to the agent. So therefore, it's a task because it's not my value, it's your value, and I have no attachment to that, right? The benefit in ClarityNOW is I can give every agent on the team their own portal where they have their own login with their own net and their own rest of the features that we'll show you guys. So now they have a true attachment as being a business owner and they can see how things work. So I think it's a disconnect between why do I have to do this? It's not value for me.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing, the concept behind that is moving your people from salespeople to business owners, that they own a business within your business versus they're just selling houses.
That's actually the mission of the company, transforming agents into business owners. That's exactly what we believe we're doing.
Who knew? I love it.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to show us on? Do any of you guys have questions on that business planning section? Is there anything else you want to see? By the way, we have a really small group. So if you want to just unmute and ask questions, you are absolutely more than welcome.
One thing I'll show you guys while we wait, and feel free to interrupt me. I mentioned the economic model. There's a budget model here too, where I said I'd spend $540 per month. And now you can go ahead and type in what are the categories where these budget items will occur. You can see how much I spend on every category. Also, the lead gen model is here where you can type in the size of your databases, your lead sources, and down below, you can actually put in your entire 36 touch campaign. So now you're just following this chronologically. This is a demo account that's not fully filled out, but now you can follow your entire database plan in the lead gen model as well.
What did you guys think about that? One of the things that I really liked about the product was it had a lot more integration with the operations side of the business, the activities that contribute to the results versus just looking at the numbers. The P&L, I wanted to point out, I think you can integrate QuickBooks with that.
You can, yeah. Do you want to hop there and discuss that quick?
I know we sort of went that we're going to do that
totally
at the
okay
end, but yeah, let's look at the P&L and the tracking of lead sources, ROI, all that stuff, because you just went over it really quickly, and I thought there was actually great stuff there.
Yeah, thank you. Let me pull it up here. I'm going to pull up a real account. This client is showing his data, and he's always given me permission to show it. So FYI, this is a real business we're about to see here.
Love it.
And let me pull that up. Give me 1 second.
I had a call with a coaching client this morning, and of course, we're talking about business planning, and they felt very uncomfortable doing business planning with agents as a DOO. And I actually thought this is such a great tool that can help them sit side by side with the agents on their team to help them plan their business. And I love that you can play with the numbers of, okay, well, if you don't want to go on that many appointments and you go on less, this is what your income would be. Or if your conversion rate goes up, we can work on your scripts and your closing and all of that. There's lots of places to fine tune and coach your agents around once you get past the planning stage too.
That's a great point. I'm actually glad you brought that up. So as I mentioned, I'm 18 years in the industry, and I've been in coaching or been a coach for the majority of that time, right? So I have literally spent, I don't know, $500,000 in my education in real estate. And I believe that software should make people smarter, right? It should make you better at your job. And I think a lot of the reasons why people like DLOs or DOSs or even rainmakers, for that matter, have a hard time doing in-depth business planning with their people is because they don't want to feel insecure about what they don't know, what questions that may be brought up. It's almost shining a light on you don't know this stuff. And I think software should make you smarter. So that's kind of the point of being able to go through software and type things in. Any rainmaker, any DLO can see how conversions affect things or the number of appointments are needed to go on. That's easier stuff to comprehend. So I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's actually really important.
Well, it allows us to focus on what's important. All of us, whether you're DOO or DOS or a rainmaker, our job is to coach people and to teach people and to help them achieve their goals. This gives us the tool. And I feel like we often spend a lot of time trying to figure out the tool and figure out the spreadsheet and build the spreadsheet when that's not where our focus should be. Our focus should be on helping people hit their goals and coaching them around the specifics. This allows us to coach around the specifics.
Yeah, you're spot on. Okay, so this is real business. So this P&L, I think it's hands down the number one profit and loss in real estate. And the reason why I say that is because one, most people don't have P&Ls, which is a shame. And if they do, they're using bookkeepers, which I love bookkeepers, but bookkeepers are in QuickBooks. They don't always have the P&L categorized the appropriate way. They're expensive. And also a lot of the times, most of the time, you get the P&L like 3 months or a month or 45 days after the month that just occurred. Right. So with our P&L, you can integrate QuickBooks into the system. So we'll see every expense that you have in QuickBooks will automatically appear in your ClarityNOW account, and you could apply the proper category to that expense in it. And then all the revenue is coming from the transactions that you enter in the system. So all revenue, all cost of sale, it's a live, real-time, up-to-date profit and loss. So with this client, I can see my P&L broken down by listing income, buyer income, my transaction fees, total gross income, month over month, and for the entire year. And I can view all this as a dollar amount or as a percentage. So I can see this client, he has 41% of his business is listing based, of his income anyways, right? His cost of sale, I can see how much went towards agent compensation every month and who actually got paid what in the same view. My broker fees, my franchise fees, referral fees, any additional cost of sale that were added in there in the form, total cost of sale and my gross profit, again, dollar amount or percentages, and then my expenses. How much do I spend per P&L category? Additional income. We added this. A lot of people have vendor income or a profit share, or we added bonus mainly for the agents on teams. If a rainmaker is doing a competition and they get $1,000 bonus, as that agent, I want to see that in my P&L, right? Again, being a business owner, and the whole thing broken down by dollar amount and percentages. If I want to see a breakdown of my expenses, I can go to my financial breakdown. And if I want to see what I spent in compensation in January, well, here's all the line items for January and how much I spent. So it's right here at your fingertips, month over month, by P&L, updated with QuickBooks. And the best part is we have a free version, which is really cool. It does not include the P&L. But the first version that includes the P&L is our Pro plan. It's only $49 a month. So now every single real estate agent in the country can have a P&L that's live, up to date, and and with the actual categories for $50 and not having to spend $450 for a bookkeeper.
What questions do you guys have in there around that? Anything else you wanted to see or questions that you have, Elizabeth?
Yeah, if the answer is no, I'm okay with it. This is just completely out of left field. Could a transaction coordination company use this with their agent clients? Since the
Yes.
agents get their own portal,
Yes.
could we like use this as a benefit or a value add to charge them sort of bookkeeping services for their business if they're solo agents?
Yeah, so what you could do is they could sign up, and then I'm in my coach account now, but I'll show you this demo account here so I can be a little more fluid with it. For every account that they have, there's a team member functionality, and within team members we have users. So I can invite anybody I want. So this is my buyer's agent or like my bookkeeper or my TC service or whoever. New user, name, email, and I want this person to be an editor on my portal. So now when they log into their ClarityNOW account, it'll look very similar to like my coach account. When I log into my coach account, which is, again, I built this as a coach, right? So one of the pain points is keeping track of all of my clients. I log into my ClarityNOW account and I visit my observatory, and here's all the people that are giving me access to their portals. So as a TC service, this is everyone who has ClarityNOW that gave the TC email address access to their portals.
Okay.
And now they can enter all transactions and P&Ls and so forth.
But Elizabeth is, I think you are asking a flip away, Elizabeth, right? If you're Elizabeth, I think her idea is if I own, by the way, Elizabeth is one of our coaches. She also owns a TC company. She also works for GoBundance. So she's like,
so she's a badass. Is what
many
you're saying.
hats.
she's very bossy. But I think her idea was, and we have a lot of clients who do own TC companies. Could I subscribe as a ClarityNOW person and then add users as the agents who are my clients? Because
just kind of the opposite way. Like the bookkeeper kind of pay for it as a value add for the consumer.
Right.
Yeah, we could probably figure something out. It would probably have to be a different sign up process, but talk to me later on that.
I was just going to say that's something you should think about before you come down to the retreat, because we have some heavy TC companies that'll be at the retreat that may ask that question. Thank you for asking that, Elizabeth. Great question. Anybody else have questions on the P&L part? Did you show, Jeremy, was there a part on there where it takes your P&L and matches it up to the MREA model?
The budget model does that in a sense. And one thing we didn't do is I've been a little bit hesitant to use MREA or other type of language, right? For kind of obvious reasons. So it doesn't do that exactly, but what it does do is it shows you the percentages. Like I can look at this client here. If I go to his budget model, I can see down below what percentage is going towards compensation, towards lead gen. And this is from the budget model, not from the P&L. Okay. So more the plan versus the actual. So in a way, it kind of does that.
So, you know me, I'm always looking to next level. What I would love to do is see that it doesn't have to be the MREA model, but each person putting in what their target percentages are. So you can always see at all times, am I above or below?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that. It's a great idea.
By the way, in case you guys didn't pick it up, one of the things that I love also about the product is you can give, if you're on a real estate team, you can give your coaches access to this. So your coach will be right on top of your numbers. They can look right in it with you at all times and help you level up that way. I love that for our coaches to be able to serve our clients better. Okay, question. Jen says, it sounded like you can give team members access to view. What can they see? Just their numbers or the whole team numbers? Yeah,
great question. I'll show you that. So if I log back into my demo account here, hold on. You guys can see it's pretty quick too. We work a lot on the speed of the platform. So this is a demo account. So for example, here's my team members, right? And here's the people in my account and my team that have their own portals. So if I go to my observatory, here's Beth Smith, my buyer's agent. I can view her portal. I'm inside Beth's dashboard now, and this is Beth's very own portal. So this is custom to her. So I can see Beth's economic models to sell 40 homes. She wants net 150. Her goal gap, which is not a feature we talked about yet, but I could see how many days she has left to sell for properties that can close that quarter. So therefore, what is her personal gap needed this week to stay on track to hit the business? I can see her pipeline report. Only her transactions and her listings are visible, and then her own financials. So she sees her own business. The way that we actually built this is in transactions here. When you enter someone as receiving a cost of sale, so let's use this one for example. This is a transaction, and this is Patricia's sale, and Patricia's making 15%, right? As a random example here. Since I labeled Patricia as receiving compensation, this is what triggers that transaction to show up on her portal. So they only see their own stuff. So all transactions are entered from the Rainmaker account, and they funnel out to team members. So agents can't enter their own transactions because frankly, they'll screw it up. They don't know all this stuff. Emma's like, yeah.
I see lots of nodding. Okay. Do we want to move to custom tracking next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. When we first,
one of the things I liked was that you can track. I often see a disconnect between my activities and my results, and I don't understand admin or sales how my activities affect my results. And what I liked about you is that you had some custom tracking availability. So let's look at that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's when we first, this all came from our customers, our clients. I kind of jokingly said that my brain built ClarityNOW, but where we go, in my opinion, officially no longer matters. It's all you guys, right? So this is a perfect example of that. When we first built it, we had the standard lead gen activities, listing appointment set, nurtures, buyer appointments, etc. But people all the time wanted different stuff. So if I go to daily tracking and I hit new, like I'm going to enter new lead gen, this is the standard stuff I mentioned. How many offers, very agent focused, but people like different stuff. So you have the ability to create your own new category. So if I go to new category, I can type in whatever the heck I want, right? How many miles did I drive? Or for the operations, how many, where was it? How many referrals did we receive? Or how many, reviews did we get? Whatever you want to put in. So if I type in, 5-star reviews as a metric that I want to track, I hit submit. And now in operations, I can go to new. I can scroll down, all my custom categories are down below. And today I got 2 5-star reviews. I hit submit. And then in my report section here, we try to keep this very clean too. Hopefully you guys think this looks easy to use. It's not very muddy. I can go to my lead gen and conversions, listing conversions, buyer conversions, kind of lead gen conversions, and all my custom stuff is over here. So if I scroll down, I see that Liam has had 2 5-star reviews during this time period. And I can change that.
So I love that because I can see people using that at team meetings. You can use it for contests where you're running contests on certain activities. You can also use it for your operations team of, we teach the 3X rule, right? Am I generating 3 times my salary and income to the team through use of systems? So let's just track it right here and look at it in every team meeting. I love the connection of activity to result.
You mentioned competitions. We're actually going to be releasing competitions. And actually, I haven't even told you this yet, Christy, but we're releasing competitions within the next probably 2 weeks, I think, where you can create a competition based on any lead gen category that you have. And it can be for any time period that you want. And then Christy, for your benefit too, you also can create a competition as a community. So Ops Boss can do a 1-week competition on whatever. And then Ops Boss will get a review of who's winning across your guys' whole platform for a specific competition.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. One thing we did not talk about, because I know we're bumping up on time, is forecasting and projecting net profits and cash flow and all that stuff, and going from reactive to proactive.
Yeah, this is, to me, guys, this is the most important report in the system. And I'll go quick on this again, just because of time. And I want to respect your guys' time here. And thank you for showing up. In the transactions here, we have commission and we have gross profit, right? So I can see the close date. This closed in January, 21,000 commission. The company is netting 18.6 because here's my other cost of sales, right? My favorite report in the system is in the CEO summary, and it lives in the projected net profits report. I think this is absolutely critical. What this does here, I'll expand my screen. What this does here is it takes the amount of pending transactions, that your pending gross profit that you have, and the closed gross profit that you have, so therefore the total combined, And then it takes into account the estimated expenses that you said you would spend in your economic model. So to give you kind of a better viewpoint of this, actually, that will be a little more impactful. Let me show you this account again quick. So if I go into old Fred's account and go to his CEO summary and check out his projected net profit report, I can see right here where his profit is. So he's got $30,000 pending for September. He's closed out 17 of gross profit after splits, 32.2 of gross profit, estimating 15,000 expenses. Therefore, we have an estimated net profit of netting 17 grand in September. We're going to net 11 grand in October, and we're losing 15 grand in November. So this column right here is a true windshield of your profitability. The P&L is awesome. It is the best P&L in the industry, but it is a rear view mirror, right? It's already happened. This column right here is where you guys can get ahead of profit and truly see, what profit's coming down, as long as your expenses are actually in line with what you said in your economic model. And if they're not, then go change it so this number is more real. But this is the most important column for running a business, in my perspective.
I love that. I just love this because it allows you to use your brain to make changes to your business versus filling out the numbers and figuring out what the numbers are. Like, we need this information to make decisions so that we can be proactive and make the best decisions. Angie, I'm curious. We have somebody on the call. Your job should be to react to the math. Say again?
Your job shouldn't be to go do the math. Your job should be reacting to the numbers that are provided.
Yes. And solving problems before they happen. I'm just curious. Angie is a CFO for a great real estate team, and she's like super geeky and numbers oriented. If you have questions or what your thoughts are.
No, I'm really enjoying it. I actually am making a list of questions I want, if you're coming to Ops Boss, that I'm gonna like corner you and be like, have you thought about this and that?
Please.
But I don't want to do that here. Like, I'm mentally preparing a big list for you. But yes, I think that this idea of drag and go and having things calculate, because I've built all this in Excel, like, that where I play with the numbers about, okay, like this is, the average price per unit. This is the percentage that's listings and everything. And I have a sheet like that forecasts for our budget that I've built in Excel. So I think what this accomplishes is what took me a lot of time to build.
Well, so can I make a comment on that quick, Angie?
Yeah.
So first off, that's how this got created, because I built a spreadsheet that did all this stuff. And I just happened to get lucky that my friend can write software. That's literally what happened. Right? So 4 years of development because I have a good friend, right? The challenge with spreadsheets is oftentimes we're the only ones that know how to use them.
Right.
It's not value for the team members. It's only value for me. And that's what software changes, is now every person can use it and not screw it up, especially the team members. So I built it. I'm a spreadsheet guy too. So I actually would almost prefer to work in spreadsheets sometimes, but it's not value for anybody else but myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great comment. Thanks. Okay, good. I'm glad Angie will be, he'll be there on Friday and Saturday. So be ready, Jeremy. Yes. Jeremy, do you want to tell us about the offer you have? And then if you guys have additional questions, pop them in the chat, or when he's finished, jump on the video.
It's real simple. So obviously we're a newer company and we want the operations people to love us, because let's get it, straight that you guys are the decision makers for your teams, right? So we made it really simple. We price this very affordably. We're not trying to be the most expensive option. We're trying to help the most amount of people. That's my passion as a coach. So I put in a link there for you guys, a landing page that's exclusive to Ops Boss coaching. And what we have for you is, if you sign up, you'll get 50% off for the first 3 months. And the most important part, truly, especially for you guys, we'll also upload all of your data for 2023. So you guys have your spreadsheets. You can send it to us. We have internal uploaders that we've built. Autumn on our team is fantastic. So sign up. For most of you guys, you probably would want the $100 option. It's either $49 or $99. The difference between the two is a $99 one is really more for teams, because I want to look at conversion reports. I want custom lead tracking. It's a different level of business owner. $49 is going to be really any agent out there is going to be totally fine for that. So for you guys,
most of ours are probably looking for the 99.
Yeah, you guys will probably be a $99 package. So 50% off for 3 months. Give us a shot. And you don't need to spend the time spending hours and hours and hours uploading the data. We'll do it for you. So
Okay,
click
awesome.
the link
Thank
and
you for setting that up. By the way, OpsBoss doesn't make any money off that. I'm just super passionate about finding the best things, the best tools to help our community. So I appreciate you setting that up, Jeremy. Chris had a great question. What role does the agent have when it comes to entering data? What are your best practices there?
Yeah, great question. The agent can be as involved as they want to be. All they really need to do is create an economic model. So they have a goal, and the goal gap is automatically populated because remember, listings and transactions funnel out to their portals. So the goal gap works great. The economic model works great. If they want to enter their own expenses for their own P&L, they can do that. If they want to enter their own lead gen on their portal, they can do that. Or they can also give edit access to the primary admin or VA to log in for them and enter their lead gen. And if they want to manage their pipeline report in ClarityNOW, they can do that. So they don't need to do the lead gen or the pipeline. They'll still have an economic model and a goal gap with CEO reporting that you can coach to. So they don't need to do anything except for that. If they want to take it above and beyond, lead gen, pipeline report, and then if they want their own P&L, then they're awesome because most agents don't do that.
Well, they have to do the lead gen in order to know whether their economic model is actually accurate, because otherwise they're making up conversion numbers, right?
Some of them. Yeah, some of them. I mean, those conversion numbers, yes. The percentage of business from listings, percentage of business from buyers, average sales price, average GCI, all that, they don't need to do it.
Right.
But to get the most of the system, they should. The challenge is are they going to do it themselves, or do they just need to give someone else to edit access? And you just say, hey, what'd you do? And you type it in and hit go.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I know a lot of people are listening with screens off. If you guys have questions, pop them in.
Sarah Paterka,
Jeremy,
I just saw you
how can...
here. Sarah, good to see you. I used to coach Sarah for a long time.
There you go. Yay. How can we get hold of you if people have further direct questions?
Yes, I'll type my email here. Jeremy at ClarityNowRE.com.
So Jeremy at ClarityNowRE.com, because this will be up on YouTube later. They won't be looking at the chat. Yep. The phone number is
585-662-8646. 585-662-8646, and Jeremy at ClarityNowRE.com.
Awesome. Okay. If you guys don't have any more questions, we are going to wrap up, and thank you guys. Have a great business planning session, and maybe you'll get this in time to sit down and help your agents do some great planning. There were some great tips here, and I appreciate you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at the OpsBoss Leader Retreat. Thank you guys for coming, and have a great rest of the week.
Good job for being here, guys. Christy, thank you for the opportunity. See you soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
Bye.